Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are y'all doing today? We're back once again. Day, what is today? My goodness. Day 11 of our top 50 real estate terms in 50 days. We are back to do more terms. I'm sticking in there, y'all. I told you, I'm determined. I'm going to come to you and do these top 50 real estate terms in 50 days, no matter what it takes. Okay, no matter what it takes. Is that no Ron DeHoro? I'm sure I jacked it up. I'm sorry. Hi, you're the first one here. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, so look, today's term is, can I get a drum roll, please? We're going to make this quick because I got to get out of here for an appointment. But today's term is, Teacher Bless, what's up? Today's term is CD, or closing disclosure, also known as your closing disclosure. So remember when I said we're going to break these up so that they make sense. So the first 8-9 days we talked about terms that you need to know when you're purchasing. Now we're in the section of the terms that you need to know when you're shopping for a mortgage, and that's why we're talking about the CD. Now the CD is a super interesting product because it is a derivative of the HUD-1. So for those of you who purchased like around the time I bought my first house, or for those of you who are still paying cash, you may still have a HUD-1, or you may have used a HUD-1 back then, but now everyone is using the CD. So that's what it's about now. And this is the interesting thing about the CD. The CD has been changed for privacy purposes. All the information, both on the buyer and seller side, used to be on the HUD-1, not anymore. So the CD stands for closing disclosure. That's what the CD stands for. Both the buyer and the seller are going to get a closing disclosure before you go to settlement. The law is that you have to have a closing disclosure, or a CD, 72 hours before you actually sign on a dotted line. That is because in previous years, before RESPA, which is the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, before RESPA changed this 72-hour law, a buyer would get their HUD-1 or their closing statement right before closing. They would have to hurry up and review it and move to closing. RESPA, again, the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, those are the ones that tell us what we can do and what we can't do. RESPA put a hold on that because RESPA wants to make sure that a buyer has enough time to look at everything in detail and make sure that they're not being rushed before they go to closing. So about 3 days before, you have to have that 72-hour window. Hey, Sharon, what's up, my sister? We still got a week. You know what I'm about to say. We're supposed to do this lunch, brunch, dinner, something for about 6 months. We're going to get it together. Anyway, the RESPA is going to have the CD is going to have a lot of good information on it. So, Sharon, we're doing our 50 terms in 50 days, top real estate terms in 50 days. Today is day 11, and we're talking about the CD, the final CD. So everyone knows what a CD is, so that when buyers or sellers go to close, they know what it is. Of course, you know what it is. And if you would like to come in on this live, I keep trying to get agents to come in and help me with this. Nobody's joined me yet. So if you want to come in, push the button. I'll let you in so we can talk about a CD, because I know you know exactly what a CD is. So for the people that don't know, the CD is a form that you get right before you go to closing. Now let's talk about what's on the CD. You're going to have every single charge that you have incurred or will incur throughout the process of closing and at the closing table. So on the first page, it's going to have a lot of information about your payment. So you'll see what your principal, so you know your payment is broken down into 4 things: principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, right? Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Now on the final CD on the front page, you're going to see that broken down so that you can look at how much you're paying in principal, which is the actual bulk of your mortgage, the money you're paying back the bank for the loan they gave you. You'll see the principal. You'll see the interest that they're charging you, which is the fee the bank is charging you for borrowing their money. You'll see the taxes. So your local, county, whatever, they're going to charge you taxes. You'll see what those taxes are, because your taxes most of the time are paid within your mortgage. And you're going to see your insurance. Okay, you know how they say first is the mortgage, then is the insurance, if you play in this game right. So you'll see what your insurance is, and your insurance most of the time is also included in your mortgage. So that first page has a breakdown of your mortgage payment, your principal, your interest, your taxes, and your insurance. It'll also have like if there's HOA fees you have to pay, that may be on there. It will also give you information on your interest rate. It will also give you information on whether you have a prepayment penalty. Now, prepayment penalties are not as prevalent as they used to be, but a prepayment penalty is going to be one of our words of the day, actually. A prepayment penalty is when the bank, let me tell you how bold they are. If you pay off their loan sooner than 30 years or whatever term you have, some of them will charge you a fee. because they expect to get all their money for all of that 30 years of interest. And if they're not going to get it, sometimes they'll charge you a prepayment penalty. So it'll show you on the first page of your CD whether you have a prepayment penalty or not. Most of the time you don't. Any agents who want to join in, just hit the live button and I'll bring you right in. Also on that first page, you'll see information on whether you have a balloon payment or not. Most of the time you won't. We don't do a lot of interest only balloon payments anymore. That's if you have a small amount of like a lower interest rate in the beginning just to get in the house. And then at some point, maybe 7 years down the line, 5 years down the line, that interest rate is going to balloon on you and then your payment goes up. Those were done, a long time ago in hopes that by the time that got here, you would be making more money and you will be able to handle the balloon payment. Well, a lot of people lost their houses that way. So now RESPA says that you must let a buyer know if they have a balloon payment or not. Most of the time you don't. So once you move on to page 2, you'll see like details and details. Oh my gosh, there's so many lines of information. You'll see what you paid for your appraisal. You'll see what you paid for your credit report. You'll see all of your lending fees. That's usually at the top of the second page. Everything you paid to get your loan done, everything you're paying your loan officer, you see all those fees, because you as a buyer and a seller, you have to have opportunities to like look at all that stuff and question those fees, because this is where you got to be careful with these fees. They might have a documentation prep fee. They might have an email fee, a courier fee. Like they plug in all these little fees and you're like, what's up with all these fees? So you have to go through them in detail to make sure that you're understanding all these fees. You'll also have a section on transfer and recording charges. That's also going to be there. So your transfer and recording charges are the fees that your state and county charge you to purchase a home or to sell a home. You're charged fees for that. And that fee is usually split half or 50-50, as we say, between the buyer and the seller. Oh, we have a title person on the line. Hi, Tammy. Right on time. We're talking about transfer and recording fees. I've been trying to get my friends from the industry keep chiming in, but nobody wants to get on live with me. So if you want to chime in, Tammy, hit the button and I'll bring you right in and you can explain transfer and recording fees, because that's up your alley. We're talking about the CD, so you would chime in on the right day. Tammy is the title person. She's been doing title, I'm going to guess 15 years, but I'm not sure. She is one of the people who do these CDs, so it's like so timely that she's here. So yeah, you'll see the good veterinarian is in the house. Dr. Snoopy Lover, what's up? Thank y'all for coming. I appreciate you. I'm going to start the wave back. One day one of my real estate friends is going to hop on this live. I don't know what y'all 20 years. Okay, Tam. Okay, Tams. Excuse me, I stand corrected. So that's on there. Your transfer and recording fees are on there. It's a certain percentage of the price of the house. That's what they charge you to, That's what they charge you in transfer and recording fees. Tammy, what is it? 1 point something percent based on the county that you're in? I always have to look it up because there's so many different, each county is different, and I do business in multiple counties. And Tammy, how many times have I called you and say, help me calculate these transfer and recording fees? Because they're so detailed. And especially when you're negotiating transfer and recording fees, you got to be like on point. Okay, let's see what else is on there. So your insurance, that's another thing that's on there. Sometimes you have to pay multiple months of insurance up front. That will also be on your CD. Like there's so many things on the CD. So you want to review that with your realtor. Take your time. That's why RESPA gives you the 72-hour window. Take your time, go through them in detail, make sure you're comfortable with each and every fee, because once you sign on the dotted line, that's it. Several times, always here to help. You can call me all the time. I'm here for you. I appreciate it. She's telling the truth. Because transfer and recording fees is not like a realtor's. I mean, we deal with them, but we don't calculate them like people like Tammy do. So I always call her to make sure I have them right. Okay, so let's talk about what's on one of the next pages of the CD that I always point out to people, because I want people to know what these loans are really costing them, right? On the top of one of the next pages, you will see what this loan is going to really cost you over time. So you see what you're paying today, right? But on the top of that form, it'll break down your whole mortgage and it'll show you how much you're really paying in principal and how much you're really paying in interest. And that I always point out, because I always encourage people, you can get this 30-year note for now, but at some point, even if it's like 5 years down the road, maybe when you start making more money, you got to get into like a 15 or a 20-year mortgage if you can. And then I show them why, because right at the top of that page, it shows them how much they're paying in interest. So like say a $300,000 house, you'll see on there where you're paying at the end probably $400,000 to $500,000. Tammy, am I lying? You're going to be paying over $400,000 total for that house, and it'll show you, okay, yeah, you borrowed this much, but you're actually paying $147,000 in interest, all in interest over all those years. So I always point that out to people to make sure that they understand how their mortgage works. That's why it's disclosed on that page the way it is. And you need to know that. You need to know what the mortgage is costing you. And they also have some APRs and stuff like that. But that's one of the main parts. She said correct. Yes, ma'am. That's one of the main parts I always point out to people, because I need them to know what this loan is really costing them and why I push paying your mortgage down early, making extra 4 principal only payments. Y'all know what a 4 principal only payment is for the buyers on the line? That is when you send money to the bank and you tell them this is only for the principal. This is not for the interest. And that way you can pay it down faster to save you some of that interest, because interest will eat up all your money if you don't manage it. All right, so I wanted to make this a quick one because, like I said, I have an appointment to go to. I got to get out of here. But I was not missing my top 50 real estate terms in 50 days. Today is day 11. Thank you all for joining me. Today, the day of the term of the day was CD. That stands for closing disclosure, which is that final form that you get when you're getting ready to go to closing. And this is the thing. You don't have to really be worried about your closing disclosure. You're going to get probably at least 2 or 3 versions of it before you go to closing. So you have a chance to look at it. You have a chance to look at it again, ask questions, make corrections, and then when you're finally comfortable with everything, like as a matter of fact, I have to do a CD review today for a buyer who was supposed to close this morning, but we're just waiting on one thing, so we're not going to be able to close until Monday. But we're going to do our CD review today. Once you reviewed everything on that CD, it's a super important form. It has each and every fee that you are charged in purchasing this house. Once you do that, then you sign off on it, and then you send it to your lender and you say, I'm okay with everything. I'm ready to go to closing. So that's a CD. So when you get your CD, call your agent and let the agent know that it's time to do the CD review. The closing disclosure is sent to you 3 days prior to your closing date. Yes, ma'am. We talked about that 72-hour window. I was trying to remember when RESPA changed that. I want to say 2017, 2018. Put it in the chat box, Tammy, if you remember when they changed that. Because remember before, you would just get your HUD-1 and you run the closing and that was it. You didn't have those 3 days to review anything. You just had to work it out, So that was the whole point of them doing, the RESPA. Teacher bless. Good luck at meeting. Thank you. I'm on my way. Meetings. And you know how they say meetings and then meetings about meetings. You know what I'm saying? And thank you for the shout out on your live yesterday, Teacher Bless. I appreciate it. Y'all go hit up Teacher Bless for his, I think it's commercial and residential disinfection services. Y'all know we slamming in the middle of COVID. Y'all stop acting like COVID is over. It ain't over. 1,100 people are still dying per day. DC had 583 cases yesterday, the highest they've ever had since COVID started. Stop acting like it's over. It's not over. One of my clients just called me about 2 hours ago and told me he tested positive. So stop acting like it's over. It's not over. I see people clubbing, having indoor parties, maskless. I'm not doing it. I'm vaccinated and I don't go anywhere inside without a mask. You will rarely catch me without a mask. I'm not doing it. My dad got COVID. He is not the same. Hey, Big Tony, what's up? He is not the same. He's not the same person that he was before COVID. He already was an older guy, but he was like that older guy who's like really in shape. Moves really good, looks really good, still walking miles. He used to run the Marine Corps marathon. Still, he almost was close to 80 when he got COVID. He was like a 55-year-old, pushing 80. Now he's an 80-year-old, maybe even older than that. He has liver issues, kidney issues. It exacerbated his prostate cancer. I really think it took a toll on his mind because dementia is setting in. In the matter of months, it changed him. So that's why I'm not playing with this disease. Y'all go ahead and play with it if you want to, but I'm not. I do everything from my home office. If I have to go to a property, I go and I come right back. You're not going to catch me out doing a whole bunch of stuff around a whole bunch of people. I'm not doing it. Anyway, so thank y'all for joining me. Day 11 today was the CD. CD is a super important form that you need to know about. It stands for closing disclosure. It is the final form that you're going to get before you buy or sell a property, and you need to review it in detail with your agent to make sure that you understand all the fees associated with purchasing or selling a home. And that's it. Y'all know how to reach me, malikasellshomes@gmail.com, or you can call the Jackson team line at 202-810-3730. You can always DM me here or on Facebook. You know how to get at me. So pick my brain, use me, ask me questions. That's what I'm here for. That's my life's work. That's my gift and my goal is to help people tap into wealth through real estate. Do I need to start calling on some of y'all agents? I want y'all to come in. I see all these realtors here. Nobody wants to come in. I'm about to start calling on y'all. Nobody's cute enough to get online. What's going on? Nobody's cute enough. Tams, come on now. I would love, Tammy, I would love for you to come on. You are the one that draws up the CDs that we're talking about, and you always cute. Y'all go to Tammy's page where it says DC Black Love. There she is!
How, how are you?
I'm good. Didn't I tell y'all she's always cute? Look at Tammy with her blonde hair and her earrings. Tammy
Thank you.
nice.
Sorry.
Hi, darling.
Look, I just came from going to get a COVID test. It is an outbreak going on, yes.
It is a serious outbreak. I'm going to go, even though I'm vaccinated because my client came up positive, I'm going to go get a test too. I mean, I had my mask on last time I was around him, but I'm still going to go get, and he flew in from Texas for me to sell a house here. And so I really think it was the airplane flight.
Wow. Look, my daughter just joined.
Oh, did she? Hi, daughter.
Morgan.
Hi, Morgan. Her daughter's like big and grown now. I remember when Morgan was a little baby. Yeah. We were in our early stages of real estate. Absolutely. So I'm glad you came on. I promise I'm not going to pick your brain a whole lot, but you do the CDs that we rely on.
Yes.
So anything you want to tell us about the CD, the importance of it, what happens in the background? Because you know what happens in the background. We don't see the background stuff. Anything you want to tell us about it?
No, I think you went over pretty much each page. The first page is pretty much the breakdown of your monthly payment. It discloses to you whether there's a prepayment penalty. It also discloses to you the principal and interest. It gives a breakdown of your taxes, which includes your taxes and your hazard insurance for condos. I guess it just depends if it requires hazard insurance. It also breaks down the amount that you need to bring to closing. On page 2, it breaks down services you did shop for, services you didn't shop for, the breakdown of your recordation taxes, and any other miscellaneous charges. It also discloses to you your initial escrow payment at closing, because there's an initial escrow that you pay up front to generate your escrow account. So, and your escrows pretty much is the breakdown of your taxes and your hazard insurance.
Awesome. See, I knew the day was gonna be good. We can get from us, y'all. Do y'all hear Mrs. Hawkins, right?
Yeah.
You know, I still, when you know somebody too long and you know their other names, sometimes you tend to go back and forth.
It's all good. It's Black Love on IG.
Yes, Black Love. So tell us this one thing. I heard you say fees that you shop for and fees that you don't shop for. Now, we in the industry, we know what that means. But for people outside of the industry, explain to them what that means.
So the services that you did shop for are pretty much like the appraisal. No, I'm sorry. Yes. I believe that is the services you shop for. I'm sorry. Being put on blast kind of sort of gets me a little
I know. I just called you out of the blue.
Yeah. It's fine.
It like also the stuff that you can, the things that you go and you seek out by yourself, and the stuff that's already kind of set up for you that you didn't have a choice to buy. Well, I hope I'm explaining that right.
Yeah, if they need further details, definitely they can reach out to you.
Reach out to me. Reach out to you.
Well, no, I mean as a real estate agent, depending on if we have the deal. But yes, they will be able to contact the title company to get a better explanation. But for sure, that'll be something that the real estate agent can also break down as well. And
let me see what else good on the CD can we talk about. Oh my God, y'all, my thing almost fell over.
The CD also discloses to you your monthly payment, and like you said, your the breakdown of what it will cost over the 30 years, or if you have a 15-year, if you have a 20-year, what you will be paying at the end of your maturity date.
Yes, that's a super important part. I always
and title insurance.
Yes, give us some information on title insurance. That's super important. Talk about that. Title queen.
Well, technically, I'm going to put a quote on that. I can't talk about that because I'm not a licensed producer.
Yes.
I understand it, but I would rather for a licensed producer to talk about title insurance.
Understood. And I have a title producer license, but I'm not going there. You see, both of us is like, I ain't going there.
Yeah.
It
I
basically
would,
protects your title, and we're
right.
gonna leave it at that because that's a very detailed part of real estate that people are licensed to do. I don't use my title producer license much, and Tammy does much more in this world than I do. But
Yes,
sometimes I just go get these licenses just to be getting them.
absolutely.
Break down this for me, and I promise I'll let you go after this. So you know how on the CD it has like all the fees listed on the buyer seller side, and then it has that portion on the bottom that calculates what you put in, like what you're selling for, what you had to pay, and that final number. Can you break down how you get to that, like how that looks on the bottom, how it has like those 3 rows and what you got, what you had to spend, and what your final either cash to close is? Uh-oh. Hi.
No, go ahead.
Oh, or what your final I thought that was somebody coming. What your final cash to close is, or what you're going to make. Just explain that little box on the bottom.
If I'm looking at it correctly, I believe that explains it's a calculation of the fees
Yes.
that you know that what you put in, the earnest money deposit, the amount that you're borrowing, and then the difference and all of the fees that are on page 2. It's a pretty much a calculation of them all and
Gotcha.
how they break everything down. If that answers your question.
Yes,
Not as a
that does answer my question. That does answer my question. All right, Tams. Well, thank you so much for chiming in. We'll have to do this again. Maybe we can plan something to talk about title and real
of
estate and all
course.
that. Because y'all, everybody on this line, when I tell you she is my plug for title, I call her. I have called her. I'll be like, Tammy, help me out with this. Help me out with that. So yeah, maybe we
Absolutely.
can do a whole section on that one day.
I'm here for it. 2022, let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. All right, Tams. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
He talked about was it add the realtor, the water escrow as well. That's a
Yeah,
good
I
point
saw
too.
that. I didn't want to keep you longer because I thought you had to do something, but I was going to talk about water escrow. You got time to tell them about water escrow real quick?
Oh, yeah, sure. The water escrow is pretty much collected in the event that once they do the final water reading, whatever's owed on that bill, the water escrow is there to pay that bill. If nothing is owed on the bill, then the money gets refunded from who it was collected from.
Absolutely. And
So
it's
that,
usually 300 if I'm not mistaken, right?
well,
Usually,
honestly, it just depends on the title company.
oh, okay.
And also if there's, circumstances where there has been overtime, like outrageous water bills,
Mm-hmm.
just to protect the buyer, they probably is a possibility. It could be more, it just depends on the circumstances, but usually it ranges from around 300 to 500. Just depends
Okay.
on the title company though.
Got you. All right, Tammy, I know you're going on about your day. I'm sure I know you're closing transactions all over the place. Tammy be all over the place closing deals, y'all.
Well, closing deals, doing mostly post closing, doing a lot of recordings. If as real estate agents, a lot of the recordings are done online. There's not a lot of abstractions going to the courthouse. It just depends. Some places in rural areas where you have to submit the recording to the courthouse, but I would say probably online. Recordings meaning they're recording the document that you sign, like the deed. If it's a purchase, there's a deed and a deed of trust. If you're borrowing the money, if you're paying
Mm-hmm.
all cash, there's a deed that's recorded.
Okay.
And if it's a refinance, there's a deed of trust. So
Okay. Okay, wonderful. You've given
that
us some good
was
nuggets. This was so, yeah, we have to get AD the realtor on one time on a Saturday or Sunday because I'm going to do this every day. So AD
okay.
the realtor, be prepared to jump in with us one day. We're going to do this. I'm doing this 50 days in a row, and I just found out I might be doing it longer because I'm going to do the same series on Facebook. So
Nice.
it's going to be
Well, I
plenty
mean,
time.
if anything title related and you want me to join or chime in, definitely, let me know ahead of time and I'll
Okay.
set it up.
Okay, wonderful. Wonderful, Tammy. Well, thank you so
Absolutely.
much. We appreciate you.
No problem. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Y'all, I don't know why my thing wants to fall over today. All right, Tams. That was Tammy Hawkins, title extraordinaire. I'm so glad she had a chance to chime in. Y'all see this? I'm really going to try to do better about bringing other people in because it's better than just listening to me like run my mouth and stutter all over the place all the time. I have so many friends in so many different parts of real estate. I'm really going to work on bringing them in. Okay, so let me tell y'all this real quick before I go. She mentioned earnest money deposit, and that's one thing that I want to bring up because one of the things there's probably 5 or 6 things that my eye just zooms to when I'm reviewing a final CD with a buyer or a seller. One of those things is the earnest money deposit, and I'll tell you why. Because when a buyer first puts a deposit down, so if you're buying a house, you know one of the first things you do after you get your offer accepted is you have to put your earnest money deposit down, or we call it your EMD. It has to be at least 1% of the price of the property. So if you're buying a property at $400,000, your earnest money deposit should be at least $4,000. That money is held either with your brokerage or most of the time at a title company. And it's usually the title company that's going to do your title work and that you're going to close at, right? So when I get that final CD, I need to make sure that the deposit has been given back to the buyer, because it's just a deposit. It's money that the seller is never going to touch. That money goes to the buyer's bottom line. So that $4,000 now goes straight back to the buyer, and their mortgage is going to be $4,000 less. I have had times where a title company will forget to credit the deposit back to the buyer, and that, my friends, is a problem. So if you're an agent, when you go to closing, check your buyer CD to make sure they got their earnest money deposit back. If you're a buyer, make sure that you got your earnest money deposit back. It's usually on the second page of the CD, if I'm not mistaken. Tammy could probably tell us better. Big Celine 1977, what's up? What's up? What's up? Glad you're here. We're doing my top 50 real estate terms in 50 days. Today's term is CD, closing disclosure, the form, the final form, the main big form that you get right before you go to closing to make sure that all of your closing fees are correct, and it has all of your information, fees, insurance, taxes, payments. It has everything on there associated with the purchase of your home. So that's what we're covering today. Anyway, so make sure that you get that money back. Make sure you get your earnest money deposit back, okay? That's it, y'all. I try not to go more than 15 minutes on these because I know we're in midday and y'all are probably working and I got to go to work too. So I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow will be day 12. I can't believe I almost made it 2 weeks. I was challenging myself, y'all, to see if I could actually do this in this whole 50 days, if I could be disciplined enough to get on here 50 days in a row. Like I told some people before, on day 3, my whole face was broken out. And this is see, the devil tried to be busy, okay? This is when I first started this, and I had an allergic reaction. Not really an allergic reaction, but for some reason around this time of year, allergies start kicking my ass, and I have all these kind of problems, right? My whole face was like chafed, Is that the right word? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. My eyes were all when your face looks super dry, but it's not dry, but your skin is just doing its own thing. My eyes were swollen. It does it once per year. For some reason, when I turned 40, I started getting allergies. And now, every year for the past 5 years, I just turned 45. For the past 5 years, I wake up once per season. It happens once per season. So it must be something with the change in the trees or something around here with my eyes big as a house. Shay, thank you. Thank you, Big Celine, 1977. I mean, it was my everything. Ugh. But I said, you know what? I'm determined. I made a commitment to myself and to my followers that I'm going to put out this information. And part of the reason why I'm doing this time of year is because education is big this time of year. A lot of people have goals. They have goals of being in their home. Either they want to be home for the holidays, they want to purchase right now, they need help, or they have a goal of becoming a homeowner or selling or investing in the next year. And then, the next year, 2022. So I'm doing this to help educate, inspire, and motivate. And I'm actually learning some things. I've been doing this 15 years. I've been licensed in Maryland 15 years, licensed in DC for 13. You can look me up, license ID 628-957. Thank you for the hearts. That's supposed to help get the word out that I'm talking, running my mouth. So thank you for that. Even though I've been doing this long, I'm still learning things, because what I do is, even though I know the everyday term for these things, I still look them up, because I learned things when I looked them up. Like yesterday, we talked about back-end ratio. I knew what a back-end ratio was, of course, but I got so much good information by researching it like a newbie, right? So that's what I do. I'll tell any realtor that's on the line, when those 101 classes come out, when those beginner classes come out, I don't care how long you've been doing it, take the classes. Like I said, I've been doing this a decade and a half. I'm working on year 16 now. Unbelievable. Can't believe it. But when these 101 classes come out, like MLS Training 101, Buyer, Tour 1, I still take them, because there's always new technology, there's new ways of doing things, there's new laws, new terms. So I still take those 101 classes. And sometimes I went to a new agent class. It was right before the pandemic. I walked into class and the teacher said, Malika, what are you doing in here? Because, most people that know me know what I do, know I've been doing it forever. I said, I'm here to learn. She was like, okay. And this is for brand new agents. But guess what? I learned some things. There were some contract changes. And I learned some things. So, I'm always trying to learn, and I'm trying to pass my love for learning off to you in hopes that some of this information will help you And this class is for a lot of people. This is for you if you're selling, if you're buying, if you're a new agent, if you're an experienced agent. These terms will help. It's helping me, it's helping you, it's helping us. And that's what it's all about, right? All right, that's it. I hope y'all tune in for day 12 tomorrow. Day 12. And day 12 tomorrow, guess what it's going to be? Day 12 tomorrow is going to be depository institutions. Ooh, that's a big word. That's a big word. Depository institutions is our word for tomorrow. So y'all tune in. Tune into my IG live. I think I like this midday hour. I'm going to go live midday and y'all join me. Okay. All right. See you tomorrow.